Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 75 of this awesome, amazing Osu Let's Play series. In the last episode, I talked about medals / achievements, what they are and how you can get them. And in this episode, I want to talk about restrictions and silences and basically things that happen to your account when you do something wrong, basically. So I'll talk about the rules of this game as well. Probably a little outdated at this point to make an episode about this, but I do think it is important to cover. But before I get into any of that, I would like to shout out as usual that I live stream every single day over at twitch.tv. So if you would like to hang out with me live or watch me play this game live or ask me questions, anything like that, please stop by, say hello. And also, bonus points if you tell me that you came from this Let's Play series. We'll be very happy to see you there. So, before I get into actually playing maps, I would like to take you on a quick stroll in the Osu wiki as usual. This is something I did last episode as well. So let's take a look at the rules. I think they're pretty simple. Basically, you can only have one account, no cheating, and no being stupid. And having only one account also implies that you don't share accounts with other people. Like if you go over to your friend's house, it is against the rules to play on their account or set a score on their account or something like that. So that's pretty much it. Obviously, I think there's also some guidelines about like not discussing things that can get you restricted or discussing people like this one, for example. If someone gets timed out, silenced, or restricted, leave them be. Don't start talking about them. So basically, don't bring awareness to rule breaking in the first place, basically. So there's a bunch of other chat related stuff. This is particularly about the public chat rooms. Keep topics civil, don't advertise, especially not to third party chat servers such as Discord or other places like that. Basically just no being stupid. Don't post NSFW stuff either. Should be hopefully self-explanatory. So what happens if I break the rules? So there's two things, and let me go back on the wiki. Oh shoot, wait, I gotta go here. Okay, going back to the wiki. So basically there's two things that can happen to you. One is that you get silenced. Oh, what? Where are the images? Okay, that's interesting. But basically if you get silenced, this is a temporary thing, and you can, let me think of how to put this. You basically just can't do anything that involves that involves interacting with the community, or I guess communicating with the community. So you can't chat anywhere, you can't post on the forums, you can't play multiplayer, you can't submit or update your beatmaps, and you also can't update anything about your profile. Edit profile details such as avatar or your about me section. So it's effectively as good as you're basically like disabled. Really, the only thing, you can be online still, and you can submit scores as usual, but you can't actually communicate with anyone. This is usually for, let me see. So for minor offenses, particularly in chat rooms or places where you do interact with the community, I think the most common way to get silenced, or I guess a very easy way to get silenced, especially without intending to, is to spam, like send messages very quickly, because you can even get silenced in like private messages by doing that. So it's not really a bad thing. I think it's just like sometimes it's really funny to just get yourself silenced, because it's like a 5-minute silence. More extreme offenses obviously will be longer silences. If you like submit an inappropriate beatmap or something like that, or if you're just like behaving strangely in like a public chat room or something like that, then you might get silenced for, I don't know. Actually, like even just like behaving poorly, you might only get like 5 minutes in a public chat room. But if you like upload something that's bad or like have an inappropriate avatar or something like that, you might get silenced for like a day. And there could be really extreme offenses that are like basically restrictions. I think there have been very extreme cases, and it's arguably just I guess power tripping of some moderators. But I think there were some people that got silenced for like a month or something, like a long time ago, or like 2 months, where it's just I don't even know. But that pretty much never happens. So yeah, hopefully that gives a brief overview of what silences are. Oh, so one thing is that they show up. Okay, yeah, here. So when you're silenced on your so when you open like a chat box or something, or like you press F8 and open the chat window, the text where you would be able to type a message, it'll say, oh, you're silenced, and the silence will be done in like X minutes. And on your profile also, there will be a section called account standing, and it'll be like, oh no, this user's account is not in good standing. And there will be like the silence. It'll say like that you got silenced, and then it'll show the reason, and then it'll show the duration. And that goes away after 28 days. So if your silence is longer than 28 days, then you could still be silenced even after that is not on your profile anymore. So, but like I said, that pretty much never happens, so you probably don't need to worry about that. So the other and more offensive case of getting or like breaking the rules is what's called account restriction. So this is basically the same as a silence, but you also won't be able to appear online to other players. So when you're silenced, if you look at the online user menu, you can still see them online, and you can actually send them messages as well if someone is silenced, but they won't be able to talk back to you. But restriction basically hides you completely. You're basically like invisible to the rest of the community. You're kind of like, you're in jail basically. You can still live your life, like you're still alive, right? You're not dead, but you can't interact with anyone. And that, okay, let me see. So common reasons why you would get restricted. So basically breaking the rules pretty much. If you multi-counted, or if you played on someone else's account, or if you cheated. And then one thing I want to mention is that sometimes the restriction is automatic, or actually, very important distinction to be made. There's a difference between being restricted and being banned, because when you're banned, so bans basically don't exist in this game. They used to, now they don't, and I'll get into that later in the episode. But basically, a restriction is just like, sometimes it's just a matter of like, hey, this account seems suspicious, so let's put a little restriction on them. Or like they did something that like flagged their account, and it's like, oh, that's a little suspicious. So staff always looks into restrictions. If they're automatic and basically false positive, then you will probably get restricted within a day or two. So no worries about that, basically. But let's see. So what do you do while on countdown before appealing? So to appeal your restriction, basically, if it wasn't a false positive and that you actually broke one of the rules, then you are going to have to appeal after 3 months. You basically just email accounts@ppy.sh, and you're like, hey, I broke the rules or whatever. Like you just tell them why you got restricted, and let me see. So tell them your account history and like why you want to be unrestricted. And I think you have to wait 3 months. I don't know where it says that here, but yeah, you got to wait 3 months. And actually, 3-month cooldown. Okay. Let me see. I think it's down here actually. So judgment error. Basically, that means false positive. So me, for example, I actually got restricted once for I got play count too quickly. I'll talk about that later in the episode. But basically, I got restricted once for a false positive, and then they unrestricted me within like an hour. So thank you, by the way, OC staff. You guys are awesome. But that. Like if they find that it's just a false positive, then you will not have any issues, nothing to worry about. So multi-accounting. So if you make more than one account and you get caught for it, then any extra accounts that you had made, those are going to get restricted permanently. And then your main account will be left unrestricted, although you might end up getting silenced, right? Most other things are 3 months, 3-month cooldown. And then, so when you get unrestricted, you are not allowed to sign up for tournaments for 1 year after your unrestriction. So let's say you got restricted at the start of in January, and then you got unrestricted in June. Then until June of next year, or the following year, you would not be able to play any tournaments. So that doesn't include tournaments that are that have no badge prize or no official connection, but pretty much any tournament that's worth playing in that there's a profile badge prize for. Basically, that's the same thing, by the way. But any tournament that's officially recognized, you would not be able to sign up for. So let's see. If you cheated or shared accounts, then your account might get rolled back, which means that any scores that you set after the date that you got rolled back to, let's say you got restricted in January, and then you got unrestricted in June, but let's say they rolled you back 1 year or something. like you're like, oh shit, I was like account sharing, or actually I don't even know. There's sometimes they just roll you back for fun, even if like there are no cheated scores on your account. Then yeah, they might just roll you back like a couple months or something. So any scores, even if they were legit that you had set after that point, then those will not be there anymore. And then cheating. So if after you get restricted or unrestricted, then you will get your account completely wiped. So all of your scores will be gone. You'll be unrestricted, but you'll be basically starting from zero again as far as your scores go. But you still have your profile stats, like your play count and total hits and things like that. So those will still be there. You just won't have any of your scores. So if you just straight up misbehave very excessively, then it sort of depends on what you did. And yeah, this is very case by case there. So if you cheated so basically if you broke one of these rules for a tournament, then the cooldown to appeal is twice as long, and let's say you get rolled back appropriately. It's called I don't actually know what that means, but basically I think the most important thing is that you were never allowed to play in a tournament again if you cheated or account shared in one, which honestly is very fair. But yeah, that is that. And then also if you got restricted and then unrestricted and then you broke the rules again, then the cooldown is twice as long. And then yeah, basically the same thing as before, just the cooldown is twice as long. And also, just because 3 months have passed does not mean that you will get a response. Sometimes OC staff is very, very bad about responding to restrictions, but yeah, that is the gist of it. Okay, let me talk a bit more about this. Oh shoot, my tablet's not plugged in. The usual, the classic, the Habib classic. Yeah. All right. So yeah, sometimes you appeal your restriction, and OC staff is like either they ignore you, or let's say you got restricted and you don't actually know why, but then like OC staff is like, yeah, you cheated. And you're like, what? And then they're like, yeah, appeal back in 3 months. And then you appeal and you're like, okay, it's been 3 months, I still don't know what I did wrong, but can I get unrestricted? And then OC staff's like, nope, you cheated or something, or like you're not telling the full story, or like, you know, please be honest to us and you'll have your account back. And there's other cases like, okay, so their definition of multi-count. Okay, so if you have like obviously abnormal progress, because like it should be pretty clear, like your progress as a player. Like when you're a new player, you should be able to tell by looking at someone's profile if like if they set like a 100 PP score in their first like 10 submitted scores, they're obviously a multi-count, right? Or at least like that's definitely like they're definitely not new to the game. But it's also the case, okay, hypothetically, if you started playing this game and you like played offline and just got really good, and then you started playing on your account, even though it was your first account, technically like you shouldn't get restricted for that, but OC staff will be like, okay, yeah, this guy's multi-counting because like that's very, very abnormal improvement. So I don't know, be wary of that. Honestly, I don't really know how to like how you should go about like proving your account in those cases, but I don't know, be very careful about that, because I do know some stories of people that has happened to, and it's like, oh shoot, yeah, I think that's just unlucky. Okay, let's see. So I want to also talk about like the difference between, or actually I mentioned earlier that bans used to be a thing and now they're not anymore. So let's see. Back in I think 2013, there was like, okay, I think that the most infamous case, right, is Koiseyo got his account banned. Like he I don't know, there were a lot of reasons, but basically he got his account intentionally banned by cheating on a couple of scores. There were 2 maps, and there was one that was like most popular. There is a song called Masterpiece that he infamously cheated on, and then there was another, like, there were actually 2 cheated scores on his account, and he just like didn't know which one would get like discovered first or something, or I don't know. The other one was the like refrain of like the lovely war or something. I don't remember what that song is called, but anyway, back then there was no restriction system, it was only bans, so your account would just kind of, I don't know, go away. And if you ever got unbanned, then like you would not keep any of your stats, but like it wasn't the same system of like you can still use your account. Like, okay, when you're restricted, you can still like submit scores and play the game as usual. You just can't interact with anyone. It's basically like playing offline, but you can't but like you can still submit scores, right? So when Koiseyo got unbanned in 2015, he had none of his profile stats at all. Like he had 0 play count, 0 everything. So, and he had a couple tournament profile badges as well from before his restriction, and then those were gone as well. So I'm pretty sure if he, or before his ban, sorry, I'm pretty sure if he was restricted actually and not banned, then those would still be there. But anyway, I think between the time he was banned and unbanned, between 2013 and 2015, the ban system changed to restrictions, and that is what we know today. I'm pretty sure that's the most infamous case of that happening. I do also know, okay, so Whitecat is actually another, I think, pretty infamous example of someone who got restricted because just everyone thought he was cheating, I'm pretty sure, or I don't know, something like that. And then he got banned for like 4 years, and or not banned, but restricted. He was restricted for 4 years, I'm pretty sure. And then when he got unrestricted, okay, so when you get unrestricted for cheating, your scores get completely wiped, right? Complete rollback. And when you have no scores on your account, basically like the auto restriction for multi-counting, so like there's a system in place to automatically restrict you if your scores are like too good relative to like your current progress. And that's usually like if you like don't even have like a 10 pp score and then you like set a 200 pp score, then obviously you're probably multi-counting, right? So you get automatically restricted. And that usually happens to like top players that get unrestricted and they're like farming again. I'm pretty sure Whitecat, after he set like a 900 pp score as his first score on his account after unban, and then he got restricted automatically, I'm pretty sure. Or like after he set the score, he was like, I think he said something like auto restrict or something like that, like he was expecting it. But yeah, in case you're wondering, that is sort of the context as to why he would get unrestricted for that, or why he would get auto restricted for that. But yeah, restriction, honestly, okay, I know some people also, on this topic, I sort of want to talk about like, some people like find it very difficult to quit Osu, I guess, and they sort of use getting their account restricted as an outlet, or that used to be the case at least. I don't know, I think some people probably still do that, but yeah, personally, I'll never really understand that, but I don't know, to each their own. It's yeah, I don't know. I was gonna compare it to like willingly putting yourself in jail or something like that, but that, again, that actually is not a fair comparison. But yeah, I don't know. I think ultimately, if you really want to quit something, then it's just a matter of not making it a priority in your life anymore. So yeah, that obviously sometimes easier said than done, but as long as I think you just find other things to fill your time with, then you'll gradually end up like even forgetting about old hobbies. Like I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Used to have like old hobbies where like, okay, I think games like Terraria and Pokemon are like really good examples where like you sort of binge those games for like a couple weeks or like a week or something, and like you forget about it again, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm sort of satisfied with my progress so far, and then you just like forget about it, and then it's just like not a priority until like you remember about it again later. So yeah, I don't know. Those are just my personal thoughts on that. By the way, my restrictions, I mentioned that earlier. So I got restricted once because I was farming play count. So I do this thing where I'm trying to make my Osu play count graph symmetrical, basically. And that involves, like, I don't know. Usually I just wait until the end of the month and then I like get play count very quickly. And I didn't know you could get restricted for getting play count too quickly, but it was like the end of the month, and like it's the last day or something, and I was like, okay, I gotta get this play count. So I just like farmed play count really, really quickly. So basically, there's like a minimum of like, I think 10,000 to 20,000 play like score that you need in order for score to count as play count. So I would just like find a map that has like really, really quick like 20,000 score at the very start, and I would just play that over and over again, like 100 times in a row. And then I got restricted, and I was like, what? Okay, but I was like, okay, well, I'm restricted, but I can still finish getting the play count, right? But I think I made like a I posted someone made a Reddit post about it basically, and then I started my stream also because I wasn't streaming when I got restricted, but then I was like, okay, I would like to get unrestricted, please. So I started my stream and I was like, yep, nice Osu game, and but I was like, okay, I gotta keep getting my play count though. So it was like the last day of the month, and I kept playing, and then I got unrestricted very soon after. But before I got unrestricted, since I kept playing and like getting play count very quickly, still, I think for like a minute or two, my account transferred from restricted mode to what's called disabled mode. And it's basically like a hyper restriction or something. It's like the closest you can get to getting banned. I don't actually know how to like reliably get one's account disabled. I'm pretty sure since I was on auto restriction, right? It wasn't like a manual restriction, like I had like broken the rules and gotten caught or something. So I'm pretty sure like because I was doing an activity that led to auto restriction and then I kept doing that activity, I think the system was like, okay, we can't just leave you in restricted mode because you're doing something very suspicious. And so the game was like, yeah, we're just gonna like disable your account until like it basically Osu was like, okay, just stop doing what you're doing. Let us look into your case or whatever. And yeah, then I got I think unrestricted like a couple minutes later. Thank you by the way to Ephemeral for dealing with that case very quickly, promptly. But yeah, just a quick ramble on restrictions and silences and the rules of this game in general, how they work. Basically, don't cheat. Only have one account. Well, something about like having only one account that I think is actually really cool about this game is that your account on Osu is basically like your identity. It's like your person basically in this game, which I think is actually really cool. So yeah, with that, I guess it makes total sense that it's basically like it is really you, right? Yeah, I think it even says that in the rules section somewhere here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, here. So this account is you. It is not anyone else. Blah blah blah. It is you. So I think that's actually really cool about Osu. So you can really identify people by their accounts. But yes, with that, if you guys have suggestions for future topics that you want me to cover in this series, please leave them in the comments because I do read all the comments in these videos. And definitely check out my channel as well. Watch my other videos. I have so many videos at this point, so definitely go on a stroll through my account or on my YouTube account. And yeah, with that, also stop by my Twitch streams because I stream every single day. But yes, with that, we'll see you guys next time.